Have you ever looked at your plate and thought, I'm doing everything right? Maybe it's a bowl of fresh spinach, a slice of roasted eggplant, a colorful salad filled with healthy veggies. You eat it, or maybe you serve it to someone you love, a parent, a grandparent, feeling good about it. Confident, proud, because you believe, like so many of us do, that if it grows in the ground and it's green, it must be good for the heart, right? But what if I told you that belief, that good intention, might be putting your heart, or the heart of someone you love, at risk? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to open your eyes. Because here's the truth most doctors won't say out loud. When we age, our bodies change. What once helped us in our 30s, 40s, even 50s, can quietly start to harm us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. And the worst part? You might not even notice until it's too late. Until the fatigue becomes daily. Until the blood pressure spikes. Until that tiny discomfort in the chest becomes something you should have paid attention to sooner. And the vegetables we're talking about today, they're sneaky. They were the mask of healthy. They're sitting in your fridge right now. You've probably been told to eat more of them. Maybe you've even made big changes in your diet recently. Cutting back on sugar, eating clean, doing everything right, and yet your heart still doesn't feel quite right. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not failing. You're just missing a crucial piece of the puzzle that no one thought to tell you. Today, we're going to talk about 6 vegetables. Yes, just 6. That could be quietly damaging the heart health of seniors. Vegetables that seem innocent, even beneficial, but when you understand how they work inside an aging body, you'll see exactly why I'm begging you to stop eating them, or at least to eat them differently. Some of these will surprise you. One might even make you angry, but I promise. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with the knowledge to make smarter choices. For yourself, for your parents, for someone you care deeply about. So if you're here because you want to live longer, live better, or because you want to protect someone you love in their final years, stick with me. And hey, if this message already hits close to home, comment heart health down below. Let me know you're here. Let me know you care. This is elderly care, and this is where truth meets compassion. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. We've got so much more to uncover together. Let's start with one that catches almost everyone off guard. Canned tomatoes. Yeah, that humble red can sitting in your pantry, waiting to become tomorrow's stew or your favorite spaghetti sauce. It looks innocent, familiar. You've probably used it your whole life without a second thought. But I got a message not long ago from a man named Jerome. His father, 78, had always loved tomato soup. Said it reminded him of simpler times, those cold evenings when his wife would simmer a pot on the stove, serve it with a grilled cheese sandwich, and they'd sit and eat together in silence. So when Jerome's father moved in with him, he kept that tradition going. Warm tomato soup a few nights a week. Always from the can, always comforting. But then Jerome noticed something odd. His father started getting dizzy more often. Shortness of breath, even after just a short walk. And when he took him in for a checkup, the doctor's face tightened. Blood pressure was dangerously high. They were stunned. It wasn't until they went over his diet that the truth came out. Canned tomatoes, something he thought was helping, was quietly hurting. You see, here's what most people don't realize. Those cans are loaded with sodium. Not a little, a lot. Even the ones that say healthy or lightly salted are often still way above what a senior heart can handle. And the thing about sodium? It stiffens your arteries, raises your blood pressure, forces your heart to work harder just to keep blood moving. And for an older adult whose heart might already be tired, that extra pressure, it's dangerous. Now don't get me wrong, tomatoes themselves are fantastic. They're full of antioxidants, lycopene, all the good stuff. But it's not the tomato that's the problem. It's the packaging. It's the processing. It's the salt bath that turns something pure into something risky. And here's the kicker. People think they're making a healthy choice. They skip the fast food, skip the takeout, and reach for a can of tomatoes instead, thinking they're doing the right thing. But no one tells them to look at the sodium content. No one tells them how quickly that adds up, especially if you're eating it a few times a week. So what can you do? Simple. Next time you're in the store, reach for the no salt added version. Or better yet, go fresh. Dice your own tomatoes. Blend them into a sauce. I know it's a little more effort, but your heart, or your loved one's heart, will thank you. And remember, it's not about never eating these things again. It's about being aware, making small shifts, because small shifts now can add up to more years, more memories, more moments. But sodium isn't the only hidden saboteur out there. There's something else, something leafy, something green, something we all think is good for us that may be causing more harm than good. Now, let me tell you about Linda. She's one of those people who really took her health into her own hands. After turning 65, she started cutting out processed foods, gave up red meat, and went all in on what she called her green reset. Every morning, without fail, she'd blend up a spinach smoothie, handful after handful. She'd eat spinach salads for lunch, sautéed spinach for dinner. She was proud of it. Her family was proud of it. And for a while, everything seemed fine until it wasn't. One night, she felt a flutter in her chest, a strange thumping, like her heart had forgotten its rhythm. It passed, but then it happened again and again, until one day, she had to sit down halfway through folding laundry, something she'd done for years without thinking twice. When she finally saw her doctor, the test showed minor but consistent irregularities in her heartbeat. And do you know what they found? It was the spinach. Now wait, before you think, how on earth can spinach be bad? Listen carefully. Spinach is packed with a compound called oxalates. For younger people with healthy kidneys and balanced minerals in their system, that's not usually a big deal. But for older adults, especially those dealing with kidney issues, calcium sensitivity, or even just normal age-related changes, oxalates can build up in the body. They bind to calcium. They mess with the way minerals move through the bloodstream. And when that balance is off, the heart notices. Because your heart doesn't just pump blood. It depends on calcium and magnesium, delicate electrolytes, to fire its rhythm, to keep everything beating in time. When oxalates interfere, that rhythm can skip, stutter, or strain. And if you're a senior, that kind of stress isn't just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. Here's the thing that frustrates me the most. Linda thought she was doing everything right. And how could she not? We've been taught since childhood, eat your spinach, get strong. We picture Popeye, bulging muscles, good health. But no one ever stops to say, hey, maybe too much of a good thing can still cause harm. And here's the other side of it. When seniors do start feeling those palpitations or odd fatigue, they rarely think, could it be the vegetables? No, they blame stress, or they ignore it, or they think, well, I'm getting older. But you don't have to accept it as normal. You can adjust. You don't have to throw out spinach entirely. It still has its place. But balance it out. Mix in greens that are lower in oxalates, like kale, arugula, or romaine. Don't let one food dominate your plate every single day. Give your body variety. Give your heart a break. Because even the healthiest foods can become harmful when the body changes. And aging changes everything. And speaking of leafy greens, there's another one that flies even further under the radar. It's colorful, it's trendy, and it's often recommended in clean eating circles. But for seniors, it can quietly wreak havoc. Let me tell you about Marjorie, 82 years old, sharp as ever, and the kind of woman who wakes up with the sun just to tend to her little patch in the community garden. She loved that garden. Tomatoes, cucumbers, herbs, and her absolute favorite? Swiss chard. Rainbow-colored stems, broad, shiny leaves. She'd beam with pride every time she harvested a fresh bunch. She'd sauté it lightly, add it to her stews, even blend it into her green drinks. She believed in nourishing herself from the earth. She'd say, food is medicine. And in so many ways, she was right. But a few months into this new green routine, something started to shift. She felt a heaviness in her chest. Her ankles began to swell. She grew tired more quickly, tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. Her daughter noticed she'd started forgetting things too. Little details, names, what day it was. So they ran some tests, and the results were clear. Her potassium levels had climbed way too high. Now, this is something that's easy to overlook because potassium is good, right? It's in bananas, in electrolyte drinks, and we're told it supports the heart, which it does until it doesn't. See, here's what people forget. For seniors, especially those with any kidney or heart issues, potassium becomes a delicate balancing act. And Swiss chard, it's packed with it. 1 cup of cooked chard can contain more potassium than a whole banana. And when your kidneys can't filter it out the way they used to, or When heart function starts to dip, the potassium stays in your system longer than it should. It builds up, and too much of it slows the heart down. It can interfere with nerve signals. It can even lead to arrhythmias that leave you breathless, foggy, or worse. And the worst part? Marjorie had no idea. She thought she was doing everything right. And no one had warned her, not once, that her beautiful garden green could be part of the problem. This is why I keep saying, healthy doesn't mean healthy for everyone. What helps one person thrive might quietly tip another into danger, especially in older age, when the body becomes more fragile and less forgiving. So what should you do? First, don't panic. You don't have to give up Swiss chard entirely. But before making it a staple, especially if you or your loved one has a history of kidney problems, heart issues, or high blood pressure, talk to your doctor. Ask for a simple blood test to check potassium levels. Stay aware. And remember, variety is your ally. Instead of eating the same green every day, switch things up. Your body will thank you for it. But it's not just leafy greens we need to watch closely. There's a certain root vegetable, sweet, earthy, seemingly harmless, that's been praised for its health benefits. And yet, for seniors, it can quietly trigger something far more dangerous. Now, let's talk about Frank. Frank's one of those guys you admire. Late 70s, still sharp, still walking the neighborhood every morning with his baseball cap and that quiet grin. A few years ago, he got serious about his health, started juicing, cut out fried foods, and every morning, like clockwork, he drank a tall glass of beet juice. He'd read online that beets were good for blood pressure, good for circulation, good for stamina. And he was right. Beets can be incredibly good in the right body at the right time. But then came the lightheadedness, not just once or twice, but often. One day, Frank had to sit down suddenly in the middle of his walk. Another day, he nearly fainted reaching up to get a glass from the cabinet. When he finally went in for a checkup, the doctor looked at his chart and asked just one question. "Are you taking any blood pressure medication?" He was. And there it was. Here's the part most people don't know. Beets are loaded with nitrates. Natural nitrates. When they enter the body, those compounds help dilate blood vessels, improve flow, and yes, lower blood pressure. That sounds great, right? But if you're already on medication that's doing the same thing, what you're really doing is doubling up. You're pushing that blood pressure even lower than it needs to be. And for a senior, that could be a real problem. Too low blood pressure can lead to dizziness, confusion, weakness, and falls. And we all know how dangerous a fall can be in later years. One misstep, one tumble, and the consequences can be life-altering. And the saddest part? Frank was trying to do the right thing. He thought beet juice was boosting his health, when in reality, it was undercutting his stability. Now, does that mean beets are bad? No, but they shouldn't be a daily staple for someone who's already managing heart health with medication. If you love beets, enjoy them once in a while. Roast a few, toss them into a salad, but don't treat them like a cure-all. And if you or someone you love is on heart medication or has a history of low blood pressure, ask your doctor before making beets a regular part of your routine. Just a quick question could save a major health scare. Now, we've talked about greens. We've talked about roots. But next up is a group of vegetables people turn to for gut health, for digestion, for detox, without realizing the pressure they might be putting on the heart in return. Let me tell you about Mary. She's one of those quiet souls who finds joy in the simple things. A warm blanket, a clean kitchen, and on Sundays, her favorite tradition, cabbage stew. She'd been making it for decades. Potatoes, herbs, a little broth, and big chunks of green cabbage, soft and tender from the pot. But over the last year, something started happening. After dinner, she'd feel this tightness in her chest. Not pain, exactly, but pressure. She'd feel bloated, uncomfortable, like something was pressing from the inside out. She started losing sleep. Her appetite dipped. And even though her heart checks had come back clear, something didn't feel right. She thought maybe it was gas. Maybe she was just getting older. But when her daughter finally took her in for a second opinion, the doctor said something that stuck. Sometimes, the problem is just gas, but that doesn't mean it's harmless. See, cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower are packed with fiber and nutrients. They're good for the gut. They help fight inflammation. They're even linked to lower cancer risk. But here's the catch, especially for seniors. These vegetables are fermenters. When they hit your gut, they break down and produce gas. And in younger bodies, that's usually not a big deal. A little bloating, a little discomfort, it passes. But in older adults, where digestion can slow down and where the body's more sensitive to internal pressure, that gas can feel like something else entirely. It can cause bloating that mimics angina. It can press on the chest wall. It can make breathing feel harder, especially if your posture is compromised or you already have a bit of stiffness in your diaphragm. And when that happens, it's easy to panic. Or worse, it's easy to dismiss real symptoms, assuming it's just indigestion when it might not be. That's the danger. Because when you start assuming every chest pressure is just gas, you might miss the moment when it's not. When it's your heart trying to speak. So what's the smart move? First, don't toss these veggies out completely. They're still valuable. But cook them well, soften them until they're tender. Raw cruciferous veggies are much harder on the gut, especially as we age. And portion size matters. A little is good. A plateful, not so much. You can also try mixing them with gentler vegetables, zucchini, carrots, or cooked greens to ease the digestive load. And most of all, listen to your body. And if you're caring for someone else, pay attention to the patterns. If chest pressure always shows up after certain meals, take it seriously. Adjust. It's not about being afraid. It's about being aware. And now, we've come to the last one. The vegetable no one suspects. The one that slips by unnoticed in countless meals. It's not green. It's not flashy. But in the wrong body, it can be quietly inflammatory, sometimes dangerously so. Now, let's talk about Sam. Sam was always one of those guys who wanted to do everything right. After his last physical, his doctor recommended the Mediterranean diet. Lots of fish, olive oil, nuts, whole grains, and of course vegetables. Sam devined fist. No more red meat. No more processed junk. He even bought cookbooks, followed health blogs, and one vegetable kept popping up again and again. Eggplant. It was in every recipe. Grilled eggplant, baked eggplant, roasted with garlic, layered in ratatouille. He figured, if it's in all these heart-healthy meals, it must be good for my heart too. So he started eating it nearly every day. At first, everything seemed fine, but then the odd little flutter started. A soft, skipping beat in his chest when he got up too fast. Then while sitting, then lying down at night. It wasn't painful, but it was there. Enough to make him pause. Enough to make him worry. When he brought it up at his next appointment, the doctor listened carefully, looked at his meds, checked his labs, and then asked him a question Sam didn't expect. How often are you eating eggplant? That's when it clicked. See, eggplant belongs to a group of vegetables called nightshades. That includes tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes too. And inside these vegetables, especially in the skin, is a naturally occurring compound called solanine. Now, in small amounts, solanine usually doesn't cause issues. But in sensitive individuals, especially older adults, it can act like a low-grade irritant. It can trigger inflammation. It can mess with nerve signaling. And for some people, particularly those with existing heart rhythm issues or sensitivity to certain compounds, it can contribute to arrhythmia. That means irregular heartbeats. That flutter, that skipping sensation. And the thing is, eggplant has a way of slipping past our radar. It feels fancy, exotic. You don't often hear people say, watch out for eggplant. But just because it's common in healthy diets doesn't mean it's healthy for everyone. That's the trap. And it's not just about solanine. Eggplants can also be a bit tough on digestion when eaten in large quantities, especially if they're not cooked thoroughly or paired with heavy oils. So here's what I told Sam, and what I'll tell you. If you like eggplant, you don't need to cut it out completely, but eat it in moderation. Watch how your body responds. If you or your aging parent or partner start noticing odd flutters, stiffness, or strange fatigue after meals, take a look at your diet. Eggplant might not be the cause, but it might be part of the picture. Because as we age, our margin for error gets smaller. The body becomes more reactive, and foods that once seemed harmless or even healing can suddenly take a toll. And now, let me be very clear. These vegetables aren't evil. They aren't poison. They aren't bad in themselves. But in the right body at the wrong time, they can do harm. And the only way to protect yourself or the people you love is to know when that line has been crossed. That's what we're here for. Awareness. understanding, and most of all, care. It's a hard truth to swallow, isn't it? The foods we've trusted for decades, the ones our mothers served at dinner, the ones we've passed around holiday tables, the ones we believed were helping us live longer, better lives, could quietly be doing the opposite. No alarms, no immediate warnings, just slow, subtle changes until one day something feels off. That's the part that hurts the most. Because when you're doing your best, when you think you're making the right choices, how do you handle the moment you find out those choices might be part of the problem? It's heavy, but I want you to hear this, really hear it. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about shame. And this absolutely is not about fear. It's about awareness. Because when we understand how the aging body works, when we learn how even the most innocent foods can shift from helpful to harmful, we gain something incredibly powerful. We gain control. We gain the ability to protect our hearts, or the hearts of the people we love. We gain the chance to intervene before things go wrong. And maybe, just maybe, we gain a few more good years. A few more holidays. A few more peaceful mornings where everything feels okay. So here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, go take a look in your pantry, your fridge. Look at the labels. Ask yourself which of these 6 vegetables have been showing up in your meals again and again. Not so you can throw them out, but so you can adjust. Maybe it's the canned tomatoes. Maybe the spinach. Maybe the beets in that healthy juice you just bought. And then pick up the phone, knock on a door, sit down with someone you love, and gently share what you've learned. Say, hey, I watched something today that made me think, and I just want to look out for you. That one conversation could change everything. Because here's the real heart of it all. Aging doesn't have to mean giving up power. It doesn't have to mean surrendering control or waiting around for bad news. It can mean clarity. It can mean making smart, caring choices, one meal at a time. It can mean holding on to the things that matter most. Health, peace, connection. With just a little knowledge and a lot of love, we can age with strength, with confidence, with hope. And no matter where you are in this journey, starting out, caregiving, or walking it yourself, remember this. You're not alone. You're doing better than you think. And it's never too late to make one small change for the better. So let's bring it all together. We've talked about 6 vegetables, just 6, that might look harmless, even healthy on the surface, but for seniors, especially those with heart concerns, they carry risks that often go unnoticed. Canned tomatoes, loaded with hidden salt, tightening arteries over time. Spinach, packed with oxalates that can throw off calcium levels and disrupt the heart's rhythm. Swiss chard, beautiful, yes, but dangerously high in potassium for aging kidneys and tired hearts. Beets, full of natural nitrates that might drop blood pressure too low when combined with medication. Cruciferous veggies like cabbage and broccoli, filling the belly with gas and pressure, masking symptoms that should never be ignored. An eggplant, the unexpected one, full of solanine, and for some, it's the quiet trigger behind those strange, uneven heartbeats. If even one of these surprised you, you're not alone. That's the whole reason we're here. Because the more we talk about this, the more we share what we've seen, what we've felt, what we've learned, the better we all become at protecting what matters most. So here's what I want from you now. Not for me, for you. If you've ever noticed strange reactions in yourself or a loved one after eating something healthy, share in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's learn from each other. Your story might be the one that helps someone else put the pieces together. And if this video helped you, if it opened your eyes, or even just made you think, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Not for algorithms or numbers, but because here at Elderly Care, we're building something real. A place where honesty matters, where aging is respected, where truth comes with compassion. Click the bell too, so you don't miss what's coming next. Because every week, we dig deeper, we get clearer, and we do it together. And with that, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being someone who chooses awareness over assumption. Stay wise, stay caring, and I'll see you in the next one.